29 and I find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours.
Hey guys, how are we today? It's so good to see you all. It's good to see you, Van. How are you? You doing all right? Oh, I gotta plug us in or we're gonna go dead. I I've already done one live this week, I know technically, and it was Monday. Remember I was telling you guys that there was an Amber Alert that had just occurred on Sunday, and that I was getting everything together for it, and then there was some bad news, and I've had it on my mind this whole time, and I've been looking into it myself, so I just thought that I would share with you guys so that we could look into it together. I'm doing good, thank you so much. I've been using my little exercise bike, and I can tell, I can feel it. I'll tell you that. But I'm hoping that it will. I know it will. It'll get easier. But I'm proud of myself for even getting started. That's the roughest part sometimes. Just even having the gumption to get started. But I was telling Foxy to hold me accountable, and he has been, bless his heart. Um, but first, you guys, this case, it's not a good outcome. I'll go ahead and tell you that. But the New York State Police, they still need some information, and I'll show you guys the pictures. Thanks, Van. Thank you so much. That we're hot girls. That's what we're supposed to do. Encourage each other. Absolutely. Um, I So the number across my ticker, and it's also in my description. I'll show you the pictures. The New York State Police are still needing some information, so if you can help them with that, you can you can call the number or email, and I have both of those. I have that in my description and across the bottom of my ticker. So when I first saw about the Amber Alert on Sunday, I'm like, whoa. I had total deja vu because I'm like, why does this seem so familiar? But do you guys remember? And I looked it up afterwards. And do you guys remember a few years ago? There was that little girl. She was 9 years old too, and that's what kind of freaks me out. Her name was Charlotte Cena, and it was actually only about 15 minutes from the place that we're going to talk about today. And she was abducted from a campground, and what her parents stayed at the campground to be close to where she was last seen, but So, but the police were watching their house and they got a ransom note in their mailbox. I think an Uber dropped it off, and they checked the fingerprints, and the abductor had left his fingerprints on the ransom note, and he had gotten arrested in like 1991 for a DUI or something. But anyways, they went to his house, and little Charlotte was found in the camper in a cabinet. I know you guys are probably, this is probably ringing a bell for you guys, but he, and I remember all of that. So I was thinking, oh God, please let this end the same way. Please let her be found all right. But um, it was, oh, and that guy, I looked up his I looked up to see what his sentence was, and his name was Craig Ross, and he got 47 years to life. He got like 25 years for abduction, and then he got 25 years to life for abduction, and then 22 years to life for hey, it's just me. How are you? It's so good to see you. So very good to see you. How you doing? Um, and then he got 22 years to life for the SA, so it's good that, and he won't be eligible for parole until his 93rd birthday, I think it is. So hopefully, he won't be allowed back into polite society ever again. But, okay, so that reminded me of this. But this time, you guys, there was an Amber Alert. Let me go ahead and share with you guys the Amber Alert. The first time that I can see that anything's posted about it was 11 a.m. on Sunday. But let me show you guys. Make it bigger. Well, first, let's start. Let me tell you a little bit. Unfortunately, usually I like to tell you guys about the victim first, little Melina, but I don't know a whole lot about her yet. I could find some about the perpetrator here, her dad, but her name hasn't been released to the public yet. And but she is a very highly educated woman from Canada, and I believe that she actually works for the Canadian government. And so I'm sure she will come forward when she can. But goodness gracious, it hasn't even been a week yet, and I'm sure that she'll tell us more about Melina, and I would love to hear more about her. But I will tell you guys what I know about her dad. And actually, Melina and her mom and dad, they were never married. This is Luciano. He is 45 years old now, and he was married once in 2000, from 2000 to 2006. But him and Melina's mama, they were never married. But they become estranged in 2019. But it sounds like everything was going good between the two. She wasn't worried for her to go on vacation. They have addresses, they're from Canada, but they came over here on July 11th for like a father daughter getaway. And I wanted to show you guys his Instagram, because one of his Instagrams, I think, was deleted because I can't find it. And some of the pictures that the media is showing, I can't find, but I will show you guys what I can find. But first of all, he was actually born in Ethiopia, and his mama was Ethiopian and his dad is Italian. And his dad passed away when he was 17. Um, so let me show you guys. And then let me pull up this. But he's a businessman, right? And on his LinkedIn, it says that he owns 4 businesses. Entrepreneur, and he went to the University of Greenwich. That's in England, because remember when we talked about the Ziz cult? One of them went over there, and I looked it up then. Um, But it says result focused entrepreneur with strong communication skills, a reputation for instilling enthusiasm in others, and leading teams to achieve shared goals. Owner and founder of four quote unquote small companies in three continents, strong believer in globalization and sustainable development. Well, I'm not going to front because I have no idea what that last part means. I'm not even going to pretend like I do. But he also had a website where he was from in Ethiopia. It's called the Kefe region, and it's this place called Gambela, and so that's what he named his company, his coffee company, Gambela Coffee. And the website for it is now down, but I did. He had a biography on there, and I did get a screenshot of it, and I'll show you guys, but I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of hard to read. So, and he talks about his daughter, Melina, here, but I'll read it to you guys because I kind of had to decipher a little bit. Um, so it says, Luciano Frattolin is an experienced entrepreneur with a proven track record of building diverse, high performance businesses. With a background in the humanities and social sciences, his former education, together with his pragmatic understanding about the complexities of life, motivates him to maintain an understanding of the world grounded in a distinct cross cultural ethos. The son of an Ethiopian mother and an Italian father, Luciano was born in the smaller remote village of Gambola. So, okay, Aaron, no problem. No problem. Um, it says with a childhood spent, and this is kind of weird, you guys. He is the owner of this coffee company, right? But it's written in third person. I thought that was kind of weird. Um, I don't know. Maybe that's the way that all entrepreneurs do it, but I can barely say entrepreneur, so I don't know anything about it. Hey, Brett, good to see you. No problem. It says, with a childhood spent running between rows of crimson coffee buds on the Ethiopian family plantation in the neoclassical architecture of his father's Milano, his vision of the world and his pursuits within reflect those hyphenated cultures. Yeah, so this is like two totally different worlds, Ethiopia and then Italy. It says, yet his early exposure to such diversity was beyond that of his peers, and his distinct quote unquote mixed ethnicity often lead to incidences of racism and feelings of isolation. With the premature death of his father when Luciano was just 17 years old, he yearned for a different life, far away from these painful experiences. While continuing his education in the United States and London, he witnessed and felt an acceptance that he had always longed for. He was left reinvigorated and reconciled the difficulties he faced during his youth by embodying the Nietzschean attitude of that which does not kill him makes him stronger. That's a big word, guys. Um, This philosophy translated into great financial success across numerous ventures from architecture to real estate to construction, mining, and of course, coffee. While enjoying the rewards of his efforts, Luciano ultimately lost his passion for the art of life and his commitment to elevating the social consciousness of his peers and compatriots. Okay, so now it's going to talk about something that happened in February 2019, and they don't mention what it is here, but in a newspaper from Canada, I think I found what it is. So I'll share that with you guys in just a little bit. It says he forgot the gifts his unique dual nationality granted him, the innovation and creativity born out of the simplicity and extravagance this food found across both countries. He readily admits the mistakes of his past life and uses such reminiscences as momentum for doing better. In February 2019, Luciano was met with an unfortunate event that severely affected his well being. Though his road to recovery was long and arduous, he remained determined. As he persevered through his recovery, he realized that he was no longer lured by profit and instead decided to invest in people and ideas that resonated with the promise of futurity, creativity, and community well being. Luciano, and this is where he's speaking about his daughter. It says Luciano currently spends as much time as he can in Montreal, Canada, with his beautiful daughter Melina. As the light of his life, she is the inspiration for, well, everything. His pursuits for building a more equitable and just world. That's where I got on my thumbnail, where down at the bottom it says, as the light of his life, she is the inspiration for, well, everything. And I have to say, allegedly, you guys, because I don't want sued and stuff like that, but he is currently behind bars, held for second degree murder of Melina and concealment of a corpse. So there is never a reason to do that, and I'm just telling you the backstory so we can kind of, there's never a reason for this. But that's why this case interested me, because how could somebody who says that, speaks so highly of his daughter, and then I'll show you guys, he's always taken her on trips and he had to find financial means and stuff like that. It's not the quote unquote usual cases of, what do we call this, you guys? Is it parenticide or infanticide? I'm not really for sure, but that annihilates their family members, Hey, Debbie, how are you? Debbie, he went to the University of Greenwich, and I was trying to ask Foxy if that was like, we would say like Harvard, if it would be more like that or more like a community college here. It's like there's big scales. That's a big scale, and I didn't know what kind of university that was, but that's where he went. Um, His pursuits for building a more equitable and just world are deeply guided by his determination that she will not have to endure the same social injustices that he encountered throughout his childhood. Seeing the world through her eyes has also helped Luciano look for creative ways to reinforce and empower Melina to know, feel, and understand her own unique individual beauty and intellect, while also teaching her to celebrate those same virtues inherent in the world's diversity. On a lighter note, Melina has also taught Luciano to let go of his rigid tendencies to keep everything in quote unquote perfect order. His love for Melina's messy art projects and chaotic ensemble of toys supersedes his love for a meticulously spotless home. That's kind of weird that he felt he needed to add that last part, right? For a meticulously spotless home. Oh, okay. It's public. Oh, okay. Okay, Debbie. Thank you. I was I had no idea, and then I tried to look up the how much tuition was there, and then I didn't know about pounds. And when I seen the amount, and then it's like it's been 20 years since I went to college, and so I didn't know if that was a lot to pay these days or not. So thank you. Um Oh, okay. Debbie says it's a nicer area than what it was, but it's a bit of a dodgy area. Yeah, me and Foxy, we looked up the top universities in London, and in England, and it wasn't even on the list of like 20, so that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then here is another picture that was on that website. I reckon so he's in a helicopter here. That was also on his coffee website with that big biography that I just read you guys. And I got that off of Rose on Twitter at 901 Lulu, because that's the only place that I've seen that. So I did want to give her credit too. Um, but in on some of this is a few of these photos were taken on his social media that was taken down, but he's always in fast cars. And a an article that I'm going to read you guys, it says that he was the first person to take like a Porsche to Ethiopia or something like that. So even though in that biography he said what happened to him is 2019, that he didn't want to that basically money didn't mean a whole lot to him. It doesn't look like that from this. It seems like it meant quite a bit to him. But in here, Let me open up his Instagram because I think a lot of these pictures are on his Instagram, the one that's still up. Oxford and Cambridge. Yep, let me show you, Debbie. It was on his LinkedIn that I saw that right here, and that's all that I saw was just University of Greenwich entrepreneur. So it didn't say a whole lot. Um, yeah, Oxford and Cambridge. That's what Foxy told me too. You guys, I just want to take just a small side note and tell you guys how thankful I am for each of you in our little community, because like I know if I need to know something about across the pond, I can ask Debbie or Foxy, and then Van always helps me about Native American stuff, and Erin, she always helps me too. You guys are just the best, and Brat too. All of you guys. I don't want to name anybody and leave anybody out, but nobody, and Neat helped me last week look in the newspapers for that older case. Remember Miss Wilma's case from 1978? She helped me look on newspapers.com for that. And you guys always, and Miss Arnold helps me with my Arizona stuff. And you guys are always so quick to help me. And usually I don't even have to ask. You guys always offer. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate that so very much. Hey, FarQ, how are you? I know. It's so good to see you. It sure is. Thank you for coming by. A lot of people are coming by today. I'm glad to see you guys. Um, So let's look at his Instagram right quick. This is the one that's still up, and all of these photos are from 2023, and this first one is just like history. It's like some kind of museum about coffee. So I really didn't learn a whole lot there, but and people's already leaving him rot in prison and stuff like that, and I I can't say that I blame them. Hey, Eddie, how are you? Good to see you. And happy feet. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. And then let's see. I don't remember what this one is. Oh, that's a Halloween. And let's see here. And that's a picture of Melina and his mama. Uh, Mama and Melina made a turkey instead of a heart. Happy Thanksgiving. And this was in 2023. And this is a cute little video, I think it was. There she is, guys. And right here, I think he even thinks to cover up her in her swimming suit. See, he won't, he doesn't want to even show her in that light. So I really like when parents do that, to think about their kids' privacy and things like that. And this is when he's introducing some kind of new coffee mug. So, oh, this is where he's showing off all of his cars. 2006, driving in Ethiopia, his Porsche or whatever it is. His third Porsche in Dubai, and then Germany. So it was important to show this aspects of his life to him too. It says, as an Italian, I'm supposed to love Ferrari, but I'm truly addicted to Porsche. Posting this in hopes that they will be my sponsors one day. Fourth silver Porsche 911 coming in summer 2025. Well, you won't see it, buddy. Too bad. Too bad you won't get to see it. Oh, okay, Debbie. She says, in regards to fees, it would depend on what you study. Yeah. Yeah. And then here's a picture of her too. Happy Orthodox Easter from my rabbit. Mm-mm. And here he's in I think this is on his was on his coffee website too. He's up in a helicopter. Travel is the only thing you can buy that makes you richer. And he's in Sydney, Australia there. And then this is her and him. And then this is another little cute video here that they're sled riding. Yeah, Debbie, that's okay. Yeah. I That's my app that I got, and it's okay if I show those, but thank you for looking out. Yeah, and then here they're eating pizza in Canada. So you guys can agree that she was a oh man, I wasn't even showing all the pictures. I was showing you guys my files still. Oh my goodness. That's what you were telling me. Oh, man. I showed you guys the pictures at the end. I'll go through them one more time just to show you guys quickly because I think that um I think it's important to see. Uh, am I a newbie or what, guys? Oh, I get it. Okay, so what I was showing you guys, the ones that I'll show you guys again, was this little video that I thought was really cute. They're swimming together here, and this is where he was covering up for her modesty. So that's what I was saying. That was really important. And I'm glad that when parents do that because I think parents show too much these days of their kids online. And then this is this is Melina with his mama in Ethiopia, looks like. And then there was this one that I wanted to show you guys too that I thought was really cute. So I already showed you guys that one. Where's the other one that I wanted to show you? This one. This is where they're riding sleighs. So you guys can agree, and then this is where he's talking about all his cars and stuff like that. But you guys can agree that that it seems like she was a really big part of his life. And so how could he get to all of that and more in 2023 and then do what he did not even a week ago? You know? So these are actually this picture. Let me show you guys. One was taken just her birthday is in March. And so I had to get this one offline crime because it was already deleted by the time I got there. But this was just a few months ago in March at her birthday. And then I found a few more of her. Bless her. Bless her, bless her. Adorable. And then, so I guess that he had a newer Instagram of recently, but it's been deleted. So I usually always like to go to the source. FarQ says, my goodness, they looked so happy together. I know. I know. And we're going to watch the press conference. And there they were specifically asked if there was any mental illness. And they said no, which of course it's going to take a while to, to do the necessary testing and stuff like that. But they said no so far. But this is what I saw on Sunday. And I got this after I got it when it was 5 hours old, and I believe that this came out about 11 a.m. But some people got an alert. The alert was the Amber Alert actually started at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, and she was last seen about 10 p.m. the night before. It says the New York State Police Investigative Support Unit is activating an Amber Alert on behalf of the Warren County Sheriff's Office and is investigating a child abduction that occurred in Lake George, New York at approximately 9:40 p.m. on July 19th, 2025. The child, Melina Frattolin, female, 9 years old, brown hair, wearing light colored shorts, black and white striped shirt, and white Adidas sneakers, last seen on I-87 near exit 22, Lake George at 9:40 p.m. The child was taken under circumstances that lead the police to believe that they are in imminent danger of serious bodily injury and or death. So what he did was, I'll tell you guys a timeline a little bit. Hey Tony, happy Friday. How are you? Um so they had been in the state since July 11th, and this was their last day before they were supposed to head back to Canada. And what the police have gathered so far was that on Saturday, the two are observed about 5:30 p.m. on surveillance video in a restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York. An hour later, Melina speaks to her mama, and her mama said that she couldn't tell anything was wrong at all, and they were starting to head back home. At 7:30 p.m., I'll show you guys an interview that we're going to watch from a lady named Becky. She says that she believes she sees their car parked on the side of the road, and he's running back up the hill. And she says he has the most coldest, darkest stare in his eyes. And she actually called police that night, before the Amber Alert was even out, I think. And we can learn a whole lot from her interview that we're going to watch. But then, so they believe that the murder occurred between 7:40 p.m. and 9:12 that night. I'm not sure for the exact specific numbers. They haven't told us that yet. But at 10 p.m., they received a 911 call from Luciano reporting that his 9-year-old daughter is missing with a possible abduction in the area of exit 22 of Interstate 87 Northway in Lake George, New York. And his stories changed. At first, he said that he had stepped out to use the restroom in the woods, and his daughter was just missing. And then his story was that when he came back, he saw two men jumping out of a van to abduct her. So that's a big problem, when the suspect's stories change. And but they figured it out really quickly. But at 1:29 a.m. is when they issued the Amber Alert. And that afternoon, by 4:27 p.m., the Amber Alert's canceled, and they found Melina deceased in a pond under a log. Trigger warning, you guys. Sorry about that. I didn't say that first. But her cause of death is asphyxia by drowning. And so I do have to give, big props that I'm so glad they issued the Amber Alert. Right here, it shows us so see, it was issued at 1:29 a.m. and then the one that I saw must have been the 10:58 a.m. one. And also, see this bottom one, it says last seen at 7:40 p.m. And then in the second one, they had narrowed it down and said last seen at 9:40 p.m. So, I'm wondering about those inconsistencies too, because he called at almost 10. But even if she was last seen at 9:40, why did he wait 18 minutes to call the police? And somebody else said, well, why didn't he jump in his car and try to chase after the van that stole his daughter? That's what all of us would do, I'm sure. I hate to say, well, if I was in their shoes, I would do this or that, but Really, I think I can say most of us, that's what we would do. Um, yeah. So now I think that it would be good if we watched the press conference and we can hear it straight from police. Let me find it. And I'll share it with you guys so you can watch it later if you want to too. I'm sorry if I'm all jumbled around sometimes in my mind, you guys. I fit so much into my brain. It's hard to get it out and convey it how I want to you guys.
Good morning. My name is Robert McConnell, and I'm the BCI captain for the New York State Police in Troop G. I would like to thank members of the media for being with us today. I'm joined at the podium by Zone Commander Captain Gary Denise, Assistant BCI Commander of Troop G, Lieutenant Andrew Cornell, Acting Director of Forest Protection, Dave Patcher, Deputy Commissioner Matthew Franklin, Acting Colonel Brian Gillis, Captain Scott Daly from the Department of Environmental Conservation of Public Protection. The New York State Police and our partners is currently investigating the homicide of Melina Frattolin. I want to remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and this information is preliminary and subject to change. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, at approximately 10 o'clock p.m., Warren County 911 received a call from a man reporting his 9-year-old daughter missing with a possible abduction in the area of exit 22 of I-87 Northway in Lake George. The child was identified as Melina Frattolin, age 9, and the caller as her father, Luciano Frattolin, age 45. The New York State Police and Warren County Sheriff's Office immediately responded to the area of exit 22 of the Northway and initiated investigation and attempt to locate Melina. On Sunday, July 20th, a search detail comprised of officers from multiple agencies conducted an organized search in the town of Ticonderoga, New York. In an area, Mr. Frattolin was suspected of having visited. During that search detail, at approximately 10:50, members of the New York State Police Forest Rangers located Melina.
So remember I told you guys that they were last seen at 5:30 p.m. at that restaurant, right? Well, what they think is so her body was found in Ticonderoga. So that is further north, and they believe that he um, dumped her body and then drove back to Lake George to make the 911 call because Lake George is in between those two. I'll show you guys a map in just a few minutes, but that's what they believe happened.
Deceased in the shallow portion of a pond. This investigation has revealed that on July 11th, 2025, Mr. Frattolin and Melina, both residents of Montreal, Quebec, legally entered the United States for the purpose of a vacation. They were expected to return to Canada on Sunday, July 20th, at which time Melina would be returned to the custody of her mother in Montreal. The mother and Mr. Frattolin had been estranged since 2019. The child resided full-time with her mother, and Frattolin visited with the child when in Canada. At about 5:30 p.m. on July 20th, Melina is observed with her father on video surveillance in Saratoga Springs, New York. At about 6:30 p.m., she spoke to her mother on the phone and told her she and her father were en route back to Canada. The child appeared to be in good health and did not indicate she was under any duress. The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Mr. Frattolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement. Initial reports from Mr. Frattolin of a suspicious white van in the area of the alleged disappearance was proven to be untrue. The suspect has been charged with murder in the second degree and concealment of a human corpse. He was then transported to the Essex County Correctional Facility where he was held pending arraignment. The suspect is scheduled to be at Ticonderoga Town Court this morning for arraignment. Melina's cause of death is pending the results of an autopsy, which is scheduled for.
And I wanted to tell you guys too. So he was arraigned on that day. I'll show you guys about him walking out after that, the perp walk. I'll show you guys that. But he was so this was on Monday. Sunday, after they found her remains, he was what do they call that? Detained right after. And then on that Monday morning, he was charged and he went to court that day. And his next court date was supposed to be today, but they canceled that, and they're sending his case to a grand jury now.
Later today. This is certainly a difficult case and a heartbreaking investigation. On behalf of the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners, I want to offer our condolences to the family of Melina. I would additionally like to thank our partners with the Warren County Sheriff's Office, Essex County Sheriff's Office, Warren County District Attorney, Essex County District Attorney, the Montreal Police Department, Department of Environmental Conservation, the Ticonderoga Police Department, and the FBI for their assistance in this investigation. If any member of the public has information regarding the death of Melina Frattolin, I encourage them to contact the New York State Police at area code 518-783-3211. I will now answer a limited number of questions. I ask for your patience, as due to the active nature of this ongoing investigation, I am limited with respect to how much we can release.
You guys let me know if you can't hear. Sometimes let me turn on the captions, because sometimes it's hard to hear the reporters asking their questions. But you guys let me know if you can't hear, and I'll boost it.
At this time. The motive is still under investigation.
What led you to believe that? What was the first sign that there were inconsistencies in the story?
Yes. So the suspect's initial account is that he had pulled over in the area of exit 22 in Lake George, pulled over into a parking lot to urinate. His initial report is he steps away to a wooded area, returns to the vehicle, and at that point, his child is gone from the vehicle. He reports a suspicious white van fleeing the scene southbound. During a subsequent interview, he then reports two unknown males forced her into a white van. That lead was thoroughly investigated and disproven.
Do we know the cause of death yet?
The cause of death is pending the results of the autopsy, which is scheduled for today. Go ahead. We have no information that there's any issues with mental health. No.
And you say that he was estranged from his wife. Do you know if he was authorized to travel alone with his daughter?
He was.
Does Mr. Frattolin have any criminal record in the U.S. or Canada that you're aware of?
He has no criminal history. He has no domestic violence history either.
How cooperative was Luciano in the discovery of her body?
I cannot provide any information with regard to that at this point.
How will it work since they're both Canadian citizens? How will you try?
I don't want to speak to the prosecution, but he'll be charged and prosecuted in New York State.
What led you to Ticonderoga?
You guys remember how Monday we spoke about the little girl in Quadville, Ontario, Canada, and we couldn't find any information. Well, they had that law that we looked at. Remember that the perpetrator or victim couldn't be named if they're underage. So it's just it's such a difference between here, and I thought it was really weird too that Monday we spoke about a crime that happened in Canada, and today we're speaking about a crime that happened in the United States of two Canadian citizens too.
I don't want to divulge too much with respect to law enforcement technology or the tools we use, just to say that we focus our search area at Ticonderoga based on inconsistencies in his initial account, as well as some technology available to law enforcement.
Where did the 911 call emanate from?
The suspect,
No, geographically. Where was
Warren County.
Okay. Was it in Lake George, though, or was it?
It was the area of Lake George, correct, in the area of exit 22.
Forgive me if this was already covered. What are the charges?
Murder in the second degree and concealment of the human corpse.
In terms of the Amber Alerts, I know there's been reports of some people getting it, some not. Can you just tell us what the process was in issuing the Amber Alerts and what time?
I don't have the time in front of me, but I can tell you just any time an Amber Alert is issued, there's a balance between providing prompt information to the public, but also ensuring that information is accurate and reliable.
So by what I can tell, but the New York State Police, I only saw the Amber Alert, the one that happened at 11, but they said that one was that it was truly issued for the first time at 1:30. So if the 911 call came at 10, that's 3 hours. So that's less time than we normally see for them to take to calling an Amber Alert, you know? So that's good. But I saw a video where a lot of people didn't get both alerts or they only got one. And you would think with the way technology is these days that everybody would get every Amber Alert that they're supposed to be, or every um, any kind of alert that they send out. You know, you'd think that everybody would get it these days, but that doesn't seem to be the case. They said that if you go out of a certain zone and then you go back into the zone, that you'll get the alert then. So I don't know.
We don't want to numb the public with unvetted alerts. So in this case, it was difficult to confirm some of the initial information provided by the suspect.
Do we know what reason they were visiting, when you asked if they were visiting?
It was just a vacation. It was a planned vacation. They visited a couple locations in Connecticut as well as New York. They were most recently in New York City.
You said surveillance was in Saratoga Springs. Was that the last piece of surveillance you received, or was there anything more to that?
That's correct.
Could you just go over the timeline one more time?
I do not have the timeline in front of me.
What was the surveillance, where was that, was that a business or?
It was at a restaurant.
Do you know about how many officers were devoted to this search?
I can't give you a number. It would be measured in the dozens. The Warren County Sheriff's Office sent every resource available to investigate this right at its inception. Same with the New York State Police. We had us in conjunction with the law enforcement partners. We had aviation, drones, canine, investigators, uniformed troopers. Every resource we had to bear, we applied in this investigation.
Where will the arraignment be held today, and do you have a time?
I don't have a time. It's scheduled for today in town of Ticonderoga Court.
Just to clarify, you said the body was found in shallow water?
In the shallow portion of a pond in a remote area. That's correct.
What area was that?
We're not divulging the location at this point.
Did it appear that he had tried to conceal the body?
Yes.
How do you think the response was? You had a multi-agency search in a very short period of time. How did that work for you? How do you think that went?
Public safety is always our number one priority. While these cases are very rare, they are incredibly tragic. And I just want to ensure the public that the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners will always utilize all available resources to apprehend any offenders that endanger children.
Can you talk at all about how difficult this case was involving a 9-year-old girl?
It was very difficult. It's very emotional. I was at the command post when we received notification that she was deceased. It was very difficult and emotional. At that point, though, the best we could do is provide some measure of justice to the family, and we are just fortunate we're able to do that in this case.
Did he say, like, within police presence after that 911 call, or was he looking for extra observation?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
After Luciano made the 911 call, did he stay under extra observation by police? Was he, I guess, in service of police presence up until his arrest?
Yes, he reported this. He fabricated the initial report of the abduction, and he was in the custody of police from that point on.
Take one more question, guys.
Can you say that the mother, I'm sorry, did you say if the mother had any concerns about the safety of her daughter while she was with him?
She had no concerns for her daughter's safety while she was with him. She knew that he was taking her on this trip to the States. Law enforcement was in contact with her as well as Montreal PD during the course of the investigation. Thank you.
Guys so much.
So now I want to show you guys the let me show you guys. So remember this picture of her birthday party in March, well, then this is his next picture. It's just so sad, you guys. It's so, so, so sad that, and how can somebody decline so much in just that short of time, you know? Um, Now I wanted to show you guys, I want to read to you guys the Canadian papers that I found. I found two papers that and I wish Carl was here. I tell him last time that let me come back and make it bigger. Last time I hit a paywall. Remember, it only let me look at it only let me look at the article once, and then the next time when I tried to pull it up live, um, it it was trying to make me pay for it, and I don't care to pay for it, but it's like if you pay for it and you forget, that's the problem when you only use it once, you know. Sorry, Brad. I turned it up so that we could hear the newspaper reporters ask their questions. So this time I was going to tell you guys I screenshot it just in case that it won't let us pull it up, but let's see if it does. Well, this one let us, so that's good. So this is from the Gazette. It's a Canadian paper, and it was on July the 23rd, and it says Luciano Frattolin loved his daughter, but he didn't like the idea of being tied down. It says the man now charged with murdering his 9-year-old daughter from Montreal while they were on vacation in the U.S. was primarily based in Ethiopia, where he liked to display his wealth, a former friend of Luciano Frattolin says. And we know that because just the one Instagram we were able to look at, we could tell. Frattolin, 45, was charged on Monday at a courthouse in Ticonderoga, New York, with the second-degree murder of his daughter Melina and with concealing her body. Late Saturday night, Frattolin claimed to police that his daughter was kidnapped while he stopped to urinate near an exit on Interstate 87 in Lake George, New York. So this tells how his story changed. While the New York State Police investigated Frattollin's claims, they noticed the story changed. By early Sunday afternoon, they found Melina's body under a log in a pond, and Frattolin was arrested. And this tells just what I was telling you guys, that they were here since July the 11th on a father-daughter trip. The girl was supposed to be returned to her mother in Montreal on Saturday. The police also said Frattolin is estranged from the girl's mother, a Montreal resident, and that she had full custody of the girl after they were separated in 2019. Frattollin's real connection to Montreal was his daughter and his ex-partner, but he didn't have any real connections to Montreal, said a man who knew Frattolin for years when they both lived in Ethiopia. The man, who asked not that his name not be published, said his family had a falling out with Frattolin a few years ago after a land deal went sour when some, quote, unquote, some of the funds disappeared, unquote. So, of course, if somebody is a bad businessman or even a thief, it doesn't mean that they'll commit murder or especially kill their own daughter, but it does show that, you have to be deceitful to do things like this. Um, oh, I know, Brad. Yeah, she says the guy kept slamming his hands down and hitting the mic. Yeah, I know, that hurt my ears too. Um, from what Frattolin said, he truly loved Melina. He would visit at least once a year. He loved his daughter, but he didn't like the idea of being tied down, the man said. His main base was in Ethiopia, not Montreal. He did have some business dealings in Montreal, too. He had some kind of Airbnb, and the next article tells us more about that. But it says the man said Frattolin is, quote, prominent, unquote, in Ethiopia because of his business dealings there, which included Frattollin's interest in a mine and a planned construction of a hotel in Ethiopia connected to a well-known international chain of hotels. In Montreal, Frattolin is listed as the primary shareholder of a numbered company that includes a business called Cafe Gambella that was created in 2020. And remember the first photo that I showed you guys? He's from Gambella, Ethiopia. So that's where he got the name for his company at. On Quebec's business registry, Frattolin lists two addresses as his residences. One is on Bernard Street West in Plateau Mont Royal, and the other is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. According to a report published online by a media property based in Ethiopia in 2019, Frattolin founded a mine along with a company based in Beijing, and they secured a 20-year succession to extract iron ore from it. When he signed to get financial support for the mine, it was a very big deal, the man said. I don't know if the mine went into operation. Frattollin's former friend said after founding the mine, 2019 became a very dark year for Frattolin. So this is when, remember in his biography that I read to you guys from his coffee website that's now taken down, it said he pointed out specifically 2019 and how that his mindset totally changed and he wasn't all about money then and stuff like that. And also 2019 is important because that's when he became estranged from Melina's mama, and this is about to tell us why. So this is his friend from Ethiopia talking here, and it says, quote, a very dark year, unquote, for Frattolin. He was assaulted, and the attack caused permanent damage to one of his eyes. The man said he doesn't know the motive for the assault, but added it caused a chain reaction that caused Melina's mother to leave him. She visited him in Ethiopia while he was recovering from the assault, the man said, and learned he was seeing another woman. That is why they separated, the man said. He was very prominent in Ethiopia, the former friend said, adding that Frattolin seemed to spend a lot more time in Italy and Montreal in recent years to avoid problems that arose from business ventures in Ethiopia that were not going well. Well, from the Instagram that we saw, which was all from 2023, he still wanted to portray that things were going well, huh? It said he had a lot of bills, so anytime things were about to blow up, he would travel to Montreal or Italy and go back to Ethiopia once things cooled down. The man also said Frattolin was very image conscious. Well, we see that. Hey, Wolfie, how are you? Good to see you. Really good to see you guys. Yeah, I know Heather Brett. I know her poor mama. I did see this man on X that's from the area, JB. I had some of his pictures in my file and I wrote his name on there, but he had pictures of her, which of course I wouldn't show because I want her to be able to keep her anonymity as long as possible because we know how reporters are, and things like that sometimes. But she actually went to the court hearing, I believe, which was on Monday for him, and she had two ladies with her, and they were all dressed um, neat and proper, and I'm glad she had her two friends with her. Um, I'm really glad about that. And I don't know if Melina is her only child, but I do know that Luciano, this was the only child that he had. But it said the man also said Frattolin was very image conscious, something that is clearly on display in Frattollin's Instagram account. He was always well dressed, wore an expensive watch, and he never flew coach, the former friend said. He was one of the first people to bring a Porsche into Ethiopia. He also had a Land Cruiser. He had two luxury cars, so in Ethiopia he would be considered a very well off person, the man said. And so there's one other thing and one other article that I wanted to show you guys. And this is, see guys, I got this link. This goes to his, let me see if I can pull it up. This goes to his YouTube. I'll have to pull it up a different way. But all of the videos were from 2023, but one of them was from, one of them looked like it was added this morning because I know people make fake YouTube channels and stuff like that when things like this happen to get followers for themselves. But it looked like one was added just an hour ago, but my phone's been messing up, so I'll have to recheck that. But I thought that was crazy. Um, So let me read the one other article to you guys, and then we'll watch the interview from Becky. And Becky says that she saw the car on the side of the road, just up a little ways from where Melina was found, where she was ultimately found. Um, so let me read this one to you guys. And this talks a little bit more about his legal battles. And like I said, there's no reason for what he did. There cannot be any good reason for doing this, but it just tells us a little bit more, you know. Uh, Montreal businessman Luciano Frattolin, got to share, who is charged with his daughter's murder in New York State, was facing deep debt and was involved in multiple legal proceedings this year, court documents reveal. Among them was a lawsuit filed by Frattolin in which he alleges a business associate threatened to jeopardize access to his daughter Melina. Frattolin, 45, reported 9-year-old Melina as kidnapped on Saturday during their vacation to the United States, triggering an Amber Alert and extensive search. She was expected to return that weekend to her mother in Montreal, who has had full custody since a 2019 separation from Frattolin. Well, we just heard why in 2019 what happened. He got hurt by an assault and then ended up seeing another woman and cheating on her. Let's see. It says he had no history of DV and no criminal record, but court records in Montreal show Frattolin was involved in at least 5 legal proceedings in 2025. He is listed as a plaintiff in 3 of them. Prior to his arrest, the businessman's Instagram account contained various trips, photos with his daughter, and the appearance of a lavish lifestyle. He was also reportedly prominent in Ethiopia because of his business dealings there, but Frattolin appeared to be in major debt according to filings. I haven't seen if he owed any child support, but sometimes in cases like this, that is, I know it seems silly, and well, like I said, there's no reason to do this, but money can be a reason. If people don't want to pay child support, they do this sometimes. It's crazy. It says in 2 of the cases, Scotiabank was suing him to recover more than $150,000 in unpaid bills associated with 2 of his businesses, Gambella Coffee and a short-term rental property. The filings show the debt was accrued through different financial means, including multiple business credit cards and lines of credit. Some of the contracts date back to 2022. Documents show Frattollin's lawyer answered the summons in both cases. In a filing from May, so just 2 months ago, there is a notice for a first case protocol in the case centered on unpaid amounts associated with the rental property. He also filed a lawsuit against a man hired as the property manager for his short-term rental property in the Mile End neighborhood. In the filing, his lawyer said Frattolin was informed last August by the building's landlords that rental payments totaling more than $26,000 or about 10 months of rent has not been paid. The landlords terminated the commercial lease, but Frattolin alleged the property manager was tasked with paying rent as part of his job. So he's trying to say that he gave the property manager money and the property manager didn't pay. That's what it sounded like. But if somebody wasn't paying a bill that I'd asked them to, it seems like I would have checked and known before 10 months, you know? It says emails including with the filings show the landlords would not reconsider a lease with Frattolin unless the missed rent payments were paid in full. The court records also show a letter of demand was sent by Frattollin's lawyer in September 2024 to the property manager, terminating the contract. He lived in Canada on a part-time basis and started the Airbnb as a way to provide for his daughter and pay his expenses, according to court documents. Quebec's business registry shows Frattolin recently listed 2 addresses as his residence, and the one in Plateau Mont Royal and the one in Ethiopia, like I told you guys earlier. It says the filing reads Frattolin was left with considerable sums to pay the arrears of rent, interest penalties, and charges related to the property, and hasn't received any business revenue since August 2024. At the property, Frattolin stored some personal belongings and his daughter's winter clothes and toys before leaving Canada, but he hasn't been able to access the property, the filing states. His lawyer also alleged that the property manager had accused Frattolin of emptying the business bank account and fleeing the country. So he's saying that this property manager, whoever he is, stole all of his money and fled the country. The lawyer wrote the alleged accusations are frivolous and completely false. In the filing, Frattolin alleged the property manager threatened to work with the mother of his child to prevent him from entering Quebec due to the business's unpaid taxes. This has not been tested in court. Oh, I missed this earlier, you guys. So he is trying. This is another thing. Sometimes we've seen in cases, you guys, where a mother or father will harm their child to get back at the other parent. So it seems like he believes that the property manager who ran away with all of his money was working with Melina's mother to prevent him from coming back into the country. And if he couldn't come back into Canada, then he couldn't see Melina. But we heard the sheriff just say that she wasn't concerned about her daughter's safety. So this is just alleged, I guess. Oh, I hope you have a good night, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming by. The property manager is also alleged to have used Frattollin's business permit and appears to be running the very same business under a different name. In April, a judge granted Frattollin's application for a safeguard order. He also ordered the property manager to cease all rental and management activities related to the property, to hand over keys and other means to access the property, and to provide a list of all homestay websites and applications used for the business's operation. The same ruling notes the defendants, the property manager, and the three people listed as Mrs. in cause, including the landlord, were absent and not represented by a lawyer. So that's about all that says. But I thought that was really interesting, you guys, because it's a big difference from what we see on social media, right? Which we know that happens a whole lot. I've got to get my stuff pulled back up here, guys. I accidentally closed my tab. But I'll get it. I'll get us there. Now, what I wanted to show you guys, and this is the last video I think that I have for you guys, and it is it is an interview by Miss Becky says that this is the wrong one. She says that she saw him on the side of the road, and where she saw him at, she said that he would have had to drive back around to actually dump Melina where she was ultimately found. I hate that word dump, don't you guys? It seems so wrong to say that about anybody, but especially about a little girl. But she says that she wanted to come forward, and it's really interesting. She wants to come forward to tell people to trust your gut and to call when you see things that don't seem right.
Back to that moment you locked eyes, and just what about it was something that just didn't seem right?
This cold and angry look. I can't describe it into words.
I just spoke to a woman who says she saw Luciano Frattolin and his daughter Melina the night he allegedly took her life. This is video per WNYT of Luciano in custody. The dad is now in upstate New York in jail, accused of drowning his daughter and leaving her body in a shallow pond. And not only did we talk to someone who says that she and her husband saw Luciano in that area around the time police say he allegedly murdered Melina, we also have new images from police in their search for answers and new details that paint a picture of a man who loved to have champagne taste, but had a financial reality far less glamorous. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Tell
We have a lot to unpack in this interview we just did with a woman who says she saw Luciano Frattolin the night he allegedly killed his daughter. She says they passed by him on the side of the road around the time police say he allegedly killed Melina Frattolin in the area where the authorities would eventually find her body. Now, before I get to what she had to say, which I will do in just a moment, I want to show you these new pictures that were put out by New York State Police of the vehicle that Luciano and Melina Frattolin were riding in during their 10-day vacation. This is a part that I am really struggling with this week, that all of this happened on what was supposed to be the final day of their father-daughter trip to New York and Connecticut. The two of them were visiting from Montreal. Now, yesterday, New York State Police revealed the findings of an autopsy of young Melina. They say she died by drowning. Police say they found.
I want to show you guys this before I forget. This is an update from the state police. That was the cars that they were just showing. And this was July 22nd at 3 p.m. And it tells about her autopsy and the cause of death, asphyxia. But down here, and these are the numbers that I have on the bottom of my screen in the description. It says, as part of the continued investigation, the New York State Police are asking for the public's help in gathering additional video evidence or eyewitness accounts of the vehicle the pair traveled in from July 11th until July 19th, 2025. More specifically, the area of the I-75 Northway between exits 28 through exit 20, Lake George, during the evening hours of July 19th, 2025. The photos below are of the actual vehicle, which was a 2024 gray Toyota Prius. And then it says, please call 518-873-2750 or email crimetip@troopers.ny.gov. And then it shows the photos here. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there too, because that's the numbers that I put in my description. Okay, now we'll get back to this.
They found her body in a shallow pond in a wooded area of Ticonderoga, New York, a small town in upstate New York along the Vermont border. Her father was the one who called 911 the night prior. He allegedly made up a wild story that his daughter had been kidnapped, that he pulled over to the side of the road as they were making their way back to Canada when two men in a white van pulled up and abducted Melina and then drove off. Police put out an Amber Alert, but they said they found inconsistencies in Luciano's story. It's unclear how police were drawn to the area of Ticonderoga where they found Melina's body, but I just spoke to a woman named Becky Kulikowski who says she saw Frattolin's Prius on the side of the road in that area around 7 p.m. the night of Melina's murder. Here's our conversation. Becky, what did you see the other night?
We left high at like 7:34 p.m. and we headed up Chilton because we were going out to the Timberwolf for karaoke and dinner. And when we crested the top of Chilton, there's a road called Putnam Pond Road, and it was almost next to it, but just past it, with a car facing towards Ty. And the car I knew was a Toyota Prius. I knew it was. I knew it was a Toyota. So to be honest, I sat at the bar that we were eating at and I looked up all the Toyota cars until I found one that looked like the car I saw. But we'll go back because when I was driving by, the reason that it caught my.
So she's saying that it caught her eye and stuff, and she was looking up what kind of car it would be before the Amber Alert even came out. That was how sure she was that this seemed out of place and it just seemed wrong to her.
It was because I saw a man running up the bank. There's a small wooded area. So when you go past the Putnam Pond Road, there's like this little dip there. And then there's like a small wooded area. And a man was running up the hill and he was sweaty and we locked eyes and he had on a dark blue shirt and jeans. And I really swore that the car was blue, but my husband, who was my passenger, said, no, the car was slate gray. And he also saw a little girl too. But I looked at him and I said, well, that was odd. And he's like, why is it odd? I'm like, well, there's a man that's got out of state plates. Why is he running up the hill from the woods? Like, that's weird. And he's like, maybe he was just taking a leak, like just got a kid with him. Maybe they're on a vacation or something, And I'm like, okay, whatever. I overthink things all the time. So we just kept going, but it still wasn't sitting right with me. And
I know how she feels. I'm a huge overthinker too. But sometimes I doubt firsthand accounts and experience. We're not going to watch this whole video to you guys. We're just going to watch her part. But first, sometimes I doubt firsthand experiences, not because I doubt what the person is saying. I believe they believe what they're saying. But in this, she has too many details, and you can tell that this is really upsetting to her. So I think that that what she saw was definitely them, in my opinion, which I could be wrong, but I just feel it on this one.
when we got there, we waited about 15 more minutes and my son showed up. And I had talked to him too about it because it still wasn't sitting right with me. He said that he saw a strange car up by Eagle Lake area that was just parked there. But he described it as like a Subaru car. He's not very good with cars, but it's whatever, neither here nor there. Then it just kept sitting with me wrong. So like while we're eating dinner, I'm sitting there looking at cars online. Until I found one, and I thought it was like a 2017 Toyota Prius or newer, and that is what I ended up reporting to the police. The When we got home, it was like around, I'd say 1 a.m. and we got that alert, and my stomach was like instantly in knots. I remember telling my husband that I thought maybe this was related, and he was like, "You need to stop overthinking," and whatever. So later that day, I had to go to my sister-in-law's and my brothers to finish cleaning out from when they had passed away. And my niece got a message that said something was going on at Eagle Lake. And I instantly said to her, "Michelle, they're looking for that little girl that's missing." And she's like, "I was thinking that too." And because I had already told her about what I'd seen the night before. And so later that day, I waited until like 4:30 when we got home and we unloaded stuff from there. I called the police. I got dispatched. They kind of were in a rush to get me off the phone, but I understand now why. I didn't know that they had found her yet. I didn't know any of that. So I understand why he was getting me off the phone kind of quick, but nobody called me back on Monday. So I called them in the morning.
Yeah, the last Amber Alert was at what time was it? Maybe around 11 something. And they ended up finding her at around 1 p.m. And the Amber Alert was canceled a few hours after that. But they found her so quickly, and they're not saying how they found her, but they said they knew because it was a place that the father had visited. So they tracked him by his electronics, I would say, in my opinion. But I'm so glad that he was dumb in that aspect and that they could do that, because it's untelling if they would have found her otherwise.
And I spoke to an officer and he took my name, my number, my email address, and my address. And he asked me a couple of times about the Prius and what it looked like and what the man was wearing. And so that's the last time I talked to them.
Did you see Melina as well, or the little girl, or
I
was
did.
that your husband
I
who
didn't
saw the
see
little girl?
her. My husband saw her, so that's what I was getting at. When he got home from work, I asked him what she was wearing and what she looked like, and he said, "Well, she was definitely dark complected, and she had brown hair, between 9 and 11 years old." He said he only seen the side of her because she was getting into the car, and she had on a white. He assumes it was white because it was very light colored, and you got to remember it's getting kind of dark at this point. Not completely dark, but we're going up a hill with sun in our eyes. And he said shorts on. That's all he could tell me. He doesn't do social media, not like the rest of the world.
So she was getting, because I'm just picturing this, you're passing this Prius on the side of the road and you see who we believe is Luciano, and he was with the girl, and I know your husband saw her, but his daughter was potentially going with him into the woods.
She was getting in the car. He was running up the bank from the woods. And when we locked eyes, I'm never going to forget his face. Never. When I saw him walk out of that courthouse, someone sent me a video and I said, "Oh my God, that is freaking him. Like, that is him." I will never forget his face. It was like a fear, but like a cold, angry look is all I can describe it as. And the feeling that I got, I'll never forget it. Never. Like, and I I haven't slept yet, and I am having trouble sleeping. I keep thinking, what if we stopped, because she'd still be alive probably if we stopped.
It's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
second guess those moments. And
Mr. Frattolin, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about these charges? Mr. Frattolin, any comments? Any comments at this time? Okay.
and you did call the police, and you let them know what you had seen. So I think it's hard to, I think all of us would second guess in that situation, but you would never expect. I mean, I know Ticonderoga, where you live, is not a place where this stuff typically happens. The area that police were searching, and where unfortunately they found Melina's body, is that the area where you saw
That's
that
just up the
Prius?
road from where, just up the road.
Just
So
what's that area like?
it's wooded. We hike it a lot. I've hiked it since I was a teenager. It's beautiful. I hate to say that, but it's beautiful. So there's houses. Where I saw them. There's houses. Where they found her. I'm not sure exactly where they found her. I just know it was somewhere just past Eagle Lake. There's no houses up there. It's just trails.
Teacup Kraken says, I wonder if the father claims she was kidnapped at Lake George because of the kidnapped of the 9-year-old in 2023. This is sickening. Yeah, Teacup Kraken. I was telling you guys that when I was reading about her Amber Alert, I got deja vu, and it went back. I couldn't remember her name at first, but I had to Google it after that, and it was Charlotte. And I was like, Charlotte Cena, and I was like, oh, please, please, God, let this Amber Alert end up the same as Charlotte, and let her be okay. And I was telling you guys, we went through about what happened to her a little bit at the beginning, but unfortunately this one didn't end up the same. But they said that it was about 15 minutes that from where he called 911 from, was about 15 minutes from the campground that Charlotte was abducted from. And I don't know if you saw what happened to that man, but he got sentenced, and it's 47 years to life, and he won't even be eligible for parole until he's like 93 or 98 or something. So I was glad about that, but it didn't hit my mind that that could have been exactly what he was trying to do. Teacup Cracket. It didn't even hit my mind. I knew about her and stuff, but it didn't even hit my mind that, yeah, that's exactly what he could have been doing. How sick and crazy is that, if that's true?
It's just wilderness, beautiful wilderness.
And what time? And it was around, you were saying like 8 o'clock, between like 7 and 8, you might have seen
We left
that
high
you
at
saw
seven
this?
at 7:34 p.m. We left high. Like, we started up Chilton Hill at 7:34.
Wow. And, for you, that moment that you lock eyes with him, and it's because for us, like, we've seen, he's this guy on social media that looks like he's, this all-American dad. And then you see the video of him now that he's in custody. I mean, take us back to that moment you locked eyes, and just what about it was something that just didn't seem right.
As soon as I looked at him, I don't know. It was a feeling that I got inside of me. As a mother, you get this instinct when something's not right, or someone isn't right. it was an odd moment for me when I saw his face. He looked like I guess scared, like maybe you got caught doing something you weren't supposed to do. I guess that's what I would describe that as, because my kids do it all the time to me. Um, but also like this cold and angry look. I can't describe it into words. I don't think I'll ever be able to describe what I was feeling in that moment. And, you know, and my husband's just like, you're overthinking, it's fine. They're probably just, in a hurry. Maybe they're on vacation. He was taking a leak. Yeah. But when he first said they, I'm like, what? They? I only saw him. And he was like, no, there's a little girl there. You didn't see her? I'm like, no. But then again, I was too focused on this man that was running up a hill out of the middle of the woods. Like, why are you over there? I mean, he could have been right. Maybe he was peeing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never know, and it's nothing for you to kind of beat yourself up about either in this, and I think no one would have expected that that's what they would have seen on their way to karaoke one night.
Yeah, I definitely did think that.
I mean, when you think about what may have happened, because if she was getting into the car and then sadly we know where the search ended in this case, it's something as if they were getting back into the vehicle and then who knows what have happened, after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the vehicle was facing Ty. So they would have had to turn around and go back up the road to get there. Like, if I had to guess, maybe he was going to do it, but then realized there was too much traffic. I don't know. I saw somebody else comment on a news page that said that she had seen them the night before at the trailhead, the Faro Lake trailhead. And she said she swears it was them. And I'm like, why would you be there the day before and then go back again? It's odd.
And for you, where you live, it's an incredibly beautiful part of the country. Saratoga Springs, Lake George, Ticonderoga, where you are along the Vermont border. How has this story impacted your community this week?
I think everybody's feeling it in their feels. At the vigil last night, there was a lot of tears, a lot of hugging, a lot of sadness. I mean, I understand not everybody can understand why people are upset over someone they didn't know, but everybody experiences empathy differently, I guess. I think that, as a community, we have seen over the last probably maybe 10 years, we've seen 2 other murders here. I think that we just come together. It doesn't matter who you are or if we knew you or not. It's just how we are.
And why was it important for you to be public? And I know you've spoken with other, media outlets to make sure people know what you saw. Why was it important to do this interview?
I was honestly going to back out of this one today. But my heart says that I should tell people that they should listen to their instincts. And when your gut is telling you something's wrong, something is probably wrong. Please listen to it, because you don't want to be me second guessing.
This is not something to beat yourself up about. You end up calling police, and no one would have known that this is how this story was going to play out. And hopefully your information and what you're telling us and what you've told the police can help them piece together and try to understand what happened. Becky Kulikowski of Tycon.
I thought it was important to, besides what she said to help the investigation, I think it was important to show her, because she was saying no matter what, she feels bad. She feels that if she would have called earlier, that or gotten through earlier, that she could have stopped what happened. But when people have it on their minds to do something so horrific as that, even if he would have gotten stopped for some reason during that time, he would have still found a way to follow through with it, in my opinion. So I don't think she should blame herself at all. There's one more video that I want to show you guys about the community, the vigil that they held for Melina. It might have been yesterday, 2 days ago, and then we'll get to our good story, and then I'll let you guys go.
was an emotional night in Ticonderoga. That's where members of the community came together to mourn Melina's tragic death. Again, Ticonderoga, that's where Melina's body was discovered.
Candlelight vigil there starting at 8 o'clock. Dan Levy joins us live from Percy Thompson Bicentennial Park. Dan, good evening.
Rachel, Steve, good evening. Up until this past weekend, Melina Frattolin was a little girl that no one in this community had really ever heard of. After tonight, it seems likely no one in this community will ever forget her. By virtue of the huge crowd that showed up here tonight at Bicentennial Park, this will be long remembered. Several hundred people turned out for that candlelight vigil, paying tribute to that Canadian girl and 9-year-old who spent her last living moments on Earth right here in this Adirondack community. One woman told me that if this was Melina's final resting place, then she will be one of us. Another vigil goer proclaimed this community refuses to let darkness have the
Bless their hearts. It really warms my heart when well, we know who Melina is, but sometimes people aren't even identified, and it really warms my heart when the communities take such care, and it really warms my heart. I remember Cairo when he was found. He's the reason that I ever started doing anything with my channel here. He was the little boy that was found unidentified in Indiana, Cairo, Jordan, and that community really, they didn't even know who he was for a while, and they had a service for him, and they named him Angel until he got his name back, and so it always reminds me of him.
final word in a place where there are vacationers and day trippers and year-round residents who are lured to the Adirondacks by their scenic beauty. The last thing anyone here ever wants to see is the evil that visited over the weekend.
It's just so horrific and so sad. I just wanted to contribute.
Pay our respects to Melina.
The people tend to put themselves in that position. It could be their child, it could be their grandchild, and just to think that a father, someone that you trust, you should trust and love, the most important person in your life, could do something so horrific.
In many ways, the vigil held here tonight marks the starting point for a special relationship between the community members here and that little girl. And the end game, well, that'll come when justice is found for that little girl whose 9 years on Earth was not nearly long enough. Live in Ticonderoga.
He said the end game will be when justice is served for her. And that's absolutely right. I just, like I said, I just wanted to, even though I'd already done a live this week, I just wanted to, I look into a lot of things on my own, you guys, that I don't share about. And I was looking into her case on my own anyway, so I figured that I would share with you guys what I found. Now we're going to switch gears about a child that was actually saved. And whatever her mama did, her mama passed away. But whatever she did before that saved her child, saved her baby. Her baby's name is Harmony, and she was born on April the 23rd. And her mama's name was Jade Harden, and she was 31 years old. And she had another 7-year-old little boy, but he was actually at his dad's then. And they have a really good relationship, Jade and Big DJ. That's her father. That's her son's father. And he said he knew something was up when she didn't call and check on him. But it was in Phoenix. And so Harmony was born on the 23rd. And it says June 27th, 2025, an infant child survived several days alone after the mother passed away in a South Phoenix apartment. Responding officers forced entry through the front door to reach the emaciated infant and walked them out to responding fire personnel for emergency medical care. They believe that this baby survived a few days, if not. So she was born on she was born on the 23rd of April, so it was about 3 weeks later when they found her, and her mama had passed away. So they don't know how many days that she was without her mama, and they found her on a bed. I'll show you guys a little bit of the body cam, but it says at about 10:30 a.m. on May 14th, 2025, an observant neighbor called officers to an apartment complex near Central Avenue and Alini Street to check on their neighbor. When officers got to the scene, they learned the woman in the apartment had recently given birth to a baby and had not been seen or heard from for several days. Officers looked through the windows of the apartment and located one unlocked. Upon opening the window, officers saw the woman motionless on the floor and a small infant laying on the bed, visibly emaciated. Officers rushed to the front door and forced it open. Officers swiftly rescued the infant and met with Phoenix Fire personnel who took the child to the hospital in serious condition. The child's health improved as hospital staff provided life-saving care. The child is expected to make a full recovery. Amen. Amen for that. Detectives responded to take over the investigation. The Office of the Medical Examiner responded and began their investigation into the cause and manner of death of the baby's mother. Department of Child Safety was made aware of the investigation and are working with investigators and family. So this is Jade, and this is her older son, and then this is her when she was a baby, and that's her with him. And the latest update I can see about the baby was July 15th, and she was still in the hospital, but she's gained a lot of weight, and she's drinking from a bottle and stuff like that, so that's great. But I wanted to show you guys the body cam, and then little DJ's dad, they and his wife, they want to actually take Harmony so that she can be raised with her brother. And so I'm glad that she has family.
Baby's here, and the baby's still alive.
New body camera video shows the moments Phoenix police officers spotted a baby in need through a window.
A neighbor who courageously called 911 and let officers know that they saw something suspicious. They realized that their neighbor, they hadn't heard from him.
Packages gathering outside the door, also tipping off that neighbor. Police responding to the South Phoenix apartment near Illini Street and Central, finding the baby's mom dead inside and the newborn clinging to life.
Come here. Come here.
We don't know how many days the child went without the care of the mother. The child was in poor health, extremely dehydrated.
Family is identifying the mother as 31-year-old Jade Harden and her baby as Harmony. They believe she was just weeks old when Jade died.
I got the worst phone call of my life.
Did you see how little her little arms was? Oh my goodness, you guys. Well, we know that we can only go without water for 3 days, but imagine a little newborn baby. I'm sure it's not even that long. So it's absolutely a miracle that this baby made it.
Her child's father of her first child got in contact with us.
Jade's family says they live in Ohio. We spoke with the father of Jade's older son, who described his former wife as very private but loved by their child.
She was an outstanding person. She was awesome. She was funny. She got along with everybody.
Everyone who knew Jade now waiting to get answers.
It's hard to process.
Yeah, it really is.
We know that there was no foul play in the apartment. It was a very clean apartment, no signs of anything obvious that would understand or would lead detectives to knowing what the cause of death was.
Some calling Harmony a miracle baby.
So to this day, the child is in good health. Department of Child Safety is intimately involved in this investigation.
Loved ones of Jade thankful that neighbor cared enough to call.
Very thankful for the neighbor. And whoever you are, thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
We met people in the community who saw that video and were dropping off diapers at the police department, just trying to find some way to help. The medical examiner's office is investigating Jade's cause of death. In Phoenix, Ashley Holden, ABC.
I looked this morning to see if they had found a cause of death for Jade yet, but they hadn't. Not yet. FarQ says, and it's summer there. Yeah, FarQ. I know that you're not from around here, but Arizona is actually one of the hottest places in the United States. So I would say that it doesn't get under 70 there at any time. But it's probably like 113 right now or something. It's one of the hottest places in the United States. So that's a very good point, too, how hot it would have been there. Now I wanted to show you guys a video of the family that is wanting to take the baby now. It's the father of her oldest son. And they seem like a really good, they hang on just a second. They seem like a really good family too. And it always makes a difference to me that on a little personal note, that if I dated somebody who had a child from a previous relationship, it would mean a lot to me how they treated their partner from before, their child's parent, because and I would want them to have a great relationship with them. That matters a lot to me. And if somebody didn't treat their child better than me and didn't have a good relationship with their ex, I don't know that I would want anything to do with them, to be honest. But you can tell that they all had a great relationship, so that makes me feel better about little Harmony's prospects in the future.
Tonight, a newborn baby is recovering in the hospital. At just a couple of weeks old, baby Harmony was found near her dead mother in their Phoenix apartment. Now her mother's ex-husband is hoping to take Harmony in and raise her alongside the baby's sibling. 13 News reporter Raya Torres spoke exclusively with the family this evening. And Raya, what's the latest on Harmony's condition?
Well, Mary, the last time the family heard, Harmony is still under close observation in a Phoenix hospital, but she is now crying. When she was first found, Harmony was severely dehydrated and near her mother, Jade, who has recently died. Now, the family of Harmony's 7-year-old brother wants to keep him and Harmony close and possibly bring her to Tucson.
The baby's here, dude. And the baby's still alive.
That newborn baby Phoenix police officers are referring to is Harmony. She was found inside an apartment with her mother, Jade, dead on the floor.
Hi.
The officers found Harmony emaciated, and now she's recovering in the hospital. The incident happened in May, roughly 3 weeks after Harmony was born. Jade had another son, DJ, who is 7 years old. DJ lives in Tucson with his father, Derek, and stepmom, Catherine, who were shocked upon hearing Jade was gone.
She would constantly call, but she did not do that. And he told me, it's like, something doesn't feel right.
As soon as I got the call, instant tears.
See, she would call all the time because they had her son. I don't know if it was just a visit or he lived with them, but she would call all the time, they said, of course, to check on her son. So that makes me believe that she was a really good mother too.
It was the worst thing that I can ever hear.
They hope to reunite the siblings and bring Harmony into what they call their blended family, so DJ can grow with his sister.
We want to have that baby experience the same thing as the love we have for our kids.
We're big on family, super big on family. So we just wanted her to experience that love that we have. We have so much to give to her, for sure.
The weekend after Jade was found, Derek was supposed to bring DJ to meet his sister for the first time and celebrate Mother's Day with her. He even wrote a card for Jade, too. Jade never told Derek and Catherine who Harmony.
Oh, so, little DJ was supposed to go meet his little sister for the first time, and he didn't get to. But he'll get to meet her now. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Harmony's father is, and they are patiently waiting to see who will get custody of.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem too, you guys. Well, not a problem, but they didn't know who Harmony's dad was. But if the more the merrier, I say, the more adults in a child's life that loves and cares for them, there's no issue there, in my opinion. So if he does come forward and he does want to spend time with her, then that's great too.
Harmony. As the couple mourns Jade's death, they plan to tell DJ and Harmony about their mother to keep her memory alive.
Your mom will always love you. At the end of the day, she's in your face when you don't even know it. she's watching you. She's always going to have your back.
We talk about her, we show them videos, pictures, and things, and that's just what we plan to do with Harmony. Keep her spirit alive in every single way.
The family is asking for donations, which will be used to bring.
Heather Bratt says, "What an amazing support system that baby girl is going to have. They seem like very loving people." Yeah, that's what I thought too. I had no worries. Like, it's not my business, but I had absolutely no worries about them if they got baby Harmony. And obviously, Jade, she didn't have a problem with them keeping her son either. I'm sure she would have mentioned it if she had a problem. She wouldn't have let her oldest son go there either. So this is their GoFundMe that I'm going to drop to. But like I always say, do your due diligence. But if you have it on your heart to give, please do. Um, Let me. It says, we are asking for donations to bring this baby girl by the name of Harmony, born April 23rd, 2025, home to be with her brother, Derek Jr., DJ, age 7, and the Hill family. Jade Harden, the mother of the two children, has sadly and suddenly passed away and was found May 14th, 2025, days later after her death. We ask that you help us in this time of need to lay Jade Harden to rest, as well as bring her baby girl home to be with her brother. We're a faith-driven, blended family household, complete with 2 parents and 4 kids, soon to be 1 more. We want to ensure that when Harmony is ready to be released from the hospital, that she has what she needs. Unfortunately, Jade did not have life insurance, so we'd like to ask for donations to help set up a fund for both DJ and Harmony for anything they want to do as they continue to grow into adulthood. Anything is more than appreciated, and we'll forever be grateful, so indebted to your kindness and support in this time of grief. We know nothing is ever given to those who can't carry it, so we'll wear this with our heads held high and promise to take care of DJ and Harmony as Jade would have wanted. Thank you. And here's the update that I wanted to share with you guys. So July 15th, 2025. Just wanted to give a quick update on baby Harmony. We're getting closer to having her come home. She's been passing her tests such as bottle feeding, making crying noises, and has put on a significant amount of weight. This girl is a fighter and so strong. She's definitely a miracle baby and will be home soon. Thanks for all the prayers and donations. Keep praying for us, guys. So that wasn't very long ago. That's great, and I pray that she comes home safely and wherever her new home is. And I pray that that she that they do keep telling her about her mama and things like that. Yeah, you guys, that's exactly right. Teacup Kraken says, I remember being so relieved to have people checking on me after my son was born because you never know what can go wrong after you have a baby. And Heather Bratt says, Teacup, I never thought about it before, but now it'll forever be on my mind. Yeah, you guys, I hadn't really thought about it before either, but that is a great thing for us to remember. Absolutely. Even if the mother isn't having physical problems, um, motherhood is a big transition, and I know I'm not there, but I've seen it, and it's good to check on people's mental health too. Everybody check on everybody's mental health, but especially new mothers, you know. So I think that that's all that I have for you guys today. The live that I did this past Monday, it was a case that Miss Alma had told me about. So if you guys have any cases that you would like for us to go over, I don't care a bit to look into it. Like I said, this case with Melina, I was looking into it just for my own time, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Also, I wanted to share with you guys, this is my moderator Trista's channel. She probably had to work today. They've changed her work hours, but if you could check out her channel, she leaves a new devotional each day on her community tab, and if you subscribe, then you'll get it in your home feed too, or go check out there each day, and it'll go up there each day. And then this is Van's channel. Well, well, Jinx, man. This is Vanessa's channel, Nature Rocks. and she does great stuff on her channel too. And it's been too hot lately for her to get out and do a whole lot, but so everybody, I always say your prayers and take your vitamins, but also drink water right now. um oh, you're welcome, Brat. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you all so very much for coming. Yeah, I always try to leave you guys on a good note, because the cases that we study, they're also that we talk about are all so very heavy, and so I like to leave us with a good note at the end. So I appreciate that. Oh, you do, Van? Well, share, spill it. What is it? Did you share it on your channel yet? Vanessa has this one video with a bunch of deer, and I listen to it sometimes because you can hear the wind blowing and the chimes and stuff, and it feels like you're sitting on her front porch, and I loved that. Yep, stay safe and hydrated, absolutely. Okay, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thank you all so very much for coming today, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.